Anyway, let's talk about the real fascism, brother. Judges deciding if Alex Jones can liquidate assets to pay families of Sandy Hook victims.
Victims may soon be closer to getting financial compensation from Alex Jones. For years, the InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist called the 2012 shooting a hoax. The family sued and won to the tune of $1.5 billion. Jones then filed for bankruptcy, but today a judge will decide if he can liquidate his assets to pay up. Omar Villafranca spoke to two of the families, hoping to finally achieve some justice.
The reason that accountability is important for me is because that's part of the healing process.
For Robbie Parker, today's hearing is yet another step in his 12-year healing journey.
There's the forgiveness part that's a very internal and very sacred and personal thing. And then there's the things that you see in your life that have been impacted because of things that Alex Jones has done. And so that accountability helps bring another layer of closure.
Parker's daughter, Emily, a first grader, was one of the 26 people.
Bro, there's rarely ever this much fucking justice happening. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it feels weird to cover. I don't ever think of like, I can't think of a single fucking moment where there's like this much spiritual, karmic, and just like actual justice in the criminal justice sense ever happening. It only took over a decade. Yeah, it only took like 12 fucking years plus, you know, endless harassment in that entire timeline. But it came nonetheless.
Killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting. In the immediate aftermath, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones called the shooting a hoax, and the parents and children involved, crisis actors. His followers threatened and harassed parents for years. But facing defamation lawsuits brought by the families, he relented in court.
It's 100% real.
And judges in Texas and Connecticut ordered him to pay families $1.5 billion.
They're not shutting me down at the top of the hour. Okay? If you think they're going to come for you next once they start shutting down all unpopular opinions, if you think that this is a good debate at the top of the hour, let me shut you down real quick. It's not. It's weak. If you legitimately think that like my commentary is identical to Alex Jones, and I'm like actively running harassment campaigns against like victims of a fucking school shooting, and having my fans literally show up at these people's houses and stuff after they had family members die in a fucking school shooting, you might be entirely lost in the sauce. He didn't do that. Not only did he literally do that, they found that he did that and was directly responsible in a court of law. That wasn't bait. Chatter is being serious. Here's a 3-minute ad break now, by the way. I'm not same as I'm worse. Yeah, a lot of liberals do. Like my haters from a particular community will constantly say Hasan is like Alex Jones because I say stuff like Israel is an apartheid. You're not like Alex Jones, but you were in that. You have some controversial opinions. I know. I know I do. There is, however, a difference between someone deliberately lying and like cultivating a massive audience of rabid freaks that go to the lengths of like harassing victims of a fucking school shooting because they believe that they're in the right and that their favorite commentator has told them that like this didn't actually happen and they're fake and phony and that this is a government psyop. And among many other instances, by the way, the Sandy Hook one is just a successful legal case, which is why we're talking about it. But since then, it's not like Alex Jones has stopped. You know, you harass victims of October 7. If you can find a single fucking video where I've ever said like October 7 is fake, or that like it didn't happen, or it was a fucking psyop, I'll give you $1,000. Okay. Straight up. Anyway. Does AI video qualify? Yeah, no, dude. And that doesn't work. Like, this would be equivalent to me saying that October 7 was fake, and then like talk about how like the Israeli government crafted it. It didn't actually happen. Like all this kind of shit. And no, if you clip what I'm saying right now, it doesn't count, obviously. Shut the fuck up. No, a video of me jokingly saying that doesn't count either. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's just continue.
$1 billion.
I lost my own power. I lost my voice for a long time. I felt like I couldn't be who I was, and I really disconnected from that for a really long time. It took me joining this lawsuit to finally start to be able to find and reclaim some of those things again.
Today's hearing could lead to a liquidation of Jones's assets to start payment, including his online platform InfoWars, where he peddled the Sandy Hook lies.
If that platform goes away that he had, is there any satisfaction in that?
In the sense that that's, unfortunately, in this case, what accountability looks like.
The amount of the verdicts in these cases in Texas and Connecticut is extraordinarily high. But we have to remember how extraordinary the damages were.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says, if granted, this liquidation could be just the beginning of Jones's financial burden.
Is he still on the hook if he starts a new business?
In a case involving defamation, where the injuries that are sustained come from someone who has acted maliciously and willfully, that debt, if you will, is not extinguished. They can continue to go to seek more.
For Scarlett Lewis, like Robbie Parker, financial relief is secondary in her fight for her son, Jesse.
The case with like Alex Jones also is that like America has the broadest protections of free speech out of any other fucking OECD nation, probably any other country on the planet. There is no country like the United States of America in terms of like the way we protect speech, okay? To a fault at times, I would even say. Straight up. Having said that, this is such a valid way to Japan. What do you mean, Japan? I guess technically you're not wrong, because you can literally be in Japan. You can be successfully sued even if what you are saying is truthful. You can successfully be sued for defamation in Japan even if what you are saying is truthful. If you call a rapist, even if they have literally been criminally convicted of rape, you can still be successfully sued for defamation. There should be limits to freedom, Hasanabi. Yeah, of course. Of course there should be limits to freedom. What do you mean? The fuck are you talking about? If someone says they want to be free to fuck children, I'm going to say there should be a limit to that. Okay? Sorry. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, I personally think that that actually harms free speech, not makes it easy, or not gives it more allowance. I think restricting true statements and opening it up to like legitimate litigation and successful litigation is ridiculous. In a way, it loops back around and actually has a chilling effect on speech. Anyway, going back to the matter at hand, Alex Jones. Alex Jones used and abused those protections in the United States of America for financial gain. He hurt a lot of people in the process. What do you do? Because he never stopped. He still hasn't stopped. As a matter of fact, he's so dedicated to the cause of slander and defamation that he very famously slandered and defamed the judge overseeing his slander and defamation trial awards proceedings. He did that. That's how crazy that shit is. What are you supposed to do? It's like, I'm a firm believer in rehabilitation. But if someone demonstrates that they just have a hole in their fucking brain or something and refuse to be rehabilitated, at a certain point, I'm going to be like, all right, bro, well, sorry, you're going to have to stay in prison, okay, until you figure this shit out. Do you understand? Just because I believe in rehabilitation doesn't mean that, like, there's a timeline. If someone is like a serial rapist, serial killer, right, and they have a shit ton of victims, and they just keep saying, like, no, you let me out, I'm going to keep doing the same thing. They demonstrate that they're going to literally do the same crimes again. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be released at the end of your sentence if that's the case, big dog. You know, sorry. And that's basically the same situation with Alex Jones. He's a guy who could have avoided all of this, right? And no, I'm not doing a top of the hour ad break debate. I already ran it, if you remember, 9 minutes ago. He could have avoided all of this by just simply being like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Sandy Hook is not fake. And I feel bad about the victims. But he kept doing it. And he kept doing it for new shootings, too. His current strategy for the last few weeks has been to redirect his viewers to buying his dick pill supplements he used to sell on his show, but this time it's from a new company that clearly has nothing to do with him, except that it's called Dr. Jones Medicine and is owned by his dad. Oh, that's awesome.
You can forgive someone, but that doesn't mean that you forget. They need to be held accountable so that they don't do it to someone else.
This hearing comes at a poignant time in these parents' lives. Jesse Lewis and Emily Parker would have graduated high school on Wednesday, their former classmates wearing green and white pins to honor their memory.
I am really excited to see what they do with their lives. You can definitely find purpose in your pain.
Robbie Parker's purpose these days is to make sure his daughter's story is told truthfully.
I love hearing stories about Emily, even if they're not like dad stories that you get sick of after 50 times, right? They're meaningful and they're amazing and they're awesome.
The hearing starts at 10 a.m. local time. Alex Jones is on the witness list, but it's unclear if he's going to show up in court. We reached out to his attorney, but did not hear back. If he shows up in court, Robbie Parker tells me it won't bother him at all. He's more focused on accountability and justice for his daughter.
Omar, thank you.
That's what everybody's thinking. I hope he does show up. He should face those families face to face. I mean, that thing is so painful. I reached out to one of the mothers, Nelba Marquez Green, her little daughter, Anna, you know, because we've done a lot of coverage about the graduation. And she said that this anniversary, this graduation, was even more painful than the anniversary. She described it as knee-buckling pain. So just think about it. I just called to check on her yesterday because this has all been in the news. Then you see a story like that, what Alex Jones has done to deny what those people went through.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. It
Which
makes me
also
very angry.
it sets ablaze to other conspiracy theorists out there
Exactly,
who
Nate.
attack these families that are
Exactly.
dealing with the worst thing a parent can deal with.
Yes.
What he did was odious and repulsive, and it can never be enough money to repay and to assuage the feelings that these families have. But I hope today that when the judge renders that judgment, that we never